Give me 2 seconds. I'm just pinning this comment with my YouTube. Okay. Oh, good evening, good evening. I feel like I see some familiar faces here of people that have probably seen some of the stuff I've been putting in my stories regarding the very alarming situations that I've been going through. I'm really sorry. This phone, the quality is really bad on the video. But anyways, yeah. So I feel like people have been kind of catching now some of the videos that I've been putting out in regards to, God, I want to restart this. But anyways, in regards to the really alarming things that I have been putting up with in silence, and that I feel like that I know a lot of people have been putting up with in silence. And I know that the people that end up having to put up with that kind of stuff is people who are not in agreement to do what they're expected to do. So in my situation, someone was truly expecting me to be a drug mule and to be okay with it. Somebody was expecting to convince me somehow to leave my business that was located in Vaughan Mills Mall and to almost use my business as a front. And then, periodically get on a plane and be a drug mule. And I was not okay with that. And I still am not okay with that. And as a result of that, they decided that I didn't deserve my life and that they're going to force me to do it by sabotaging everything that I'm working on, sabotaging my business. And it really was a wild card, because even if they sabotage my business, what's to say that after I'm not just going to accept that, I'm bankrupt or things are not working out for me? Like, what would make me decide that despite not being able to run my business the way that I want to, that instead I'm going to be a drug mule? I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to go work for these people. So what's ended up happening is over a year and a half, it hasn't worked out. Them making me bankrupt hasn't worked. Them trying to push me mentally to not be mentally okay, that hasn't worked. Nothing's worked, to be honest. I'm not scared of them. And now we're at the point where I am speaking out, where I think that people should know what's going on, or at least what's going on with me. And I know that they've destroyed my reputation in a lot of ways. In my community, and then with everybody else that I've been working with. So I'm going to record this video. I'm going to try to get through it in under an hour, but the topics that I have here are topics that I feel like each topic is going to take a while to get through. But I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as I can. And this is going to obviously be posted on YouTube. Please forgive me here. This is going to be posted on YouTube. And then I'm going to put a link in my story so everybody can check it out. So the first story I'm going to tell, I'm going to start in the fall. So my stories are not always in chronological order, and they're not always about the same thing. But this first story is about an influencer named Dominique Baker. So I get the idea that I'm going to go to this fashion show at Friday Harbor. And I think most people remember when I went to this Friday Harbor show. I was just attending the first weekend that I went. And then the second weekend that I went, I was a vendor. I can't remember if this is this is not the weekend that I was a vendor. But I went and I met Dominique Baker. Now, Dominique Baker is an influencer. She's out of Ottawa, and I think she has like 100,000 followers. So I meet Dominique and I was like, hey, I'd love to dress you, whatever the case is. We'd love to get tags, blah, blah, blah. Everything was fine. We agreed. So she gets in contact with me. And at the time, it's like, I guess I hadn't really taken into consideration just how hacked I was with my Instagram. Like, I knew my Instagram was hacked. But I hadn't realized it was being monitored by more than just faces in Toronto. Anyway, from the time I spoke to her, and I can't remember if she must have DM'd me first or I DM'd her, whatever the case is. And I said, hey, we have a new line of dresses coming, which was the Can collection dresses. So that was this past fall. We were set to work together. Everything was fine. She was very gung-ho. And then she had to go to the Woodbine horse races show. So I was really excited for that because I was like, okay, I'm going to give her a dress. And, it's going to be really good. People are going to see her in the dress, etc., etc. Her Instagram gets hacked. And she cannot get back into her Instagram for a while. So she is freaked out. I'm freaked out because I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm trying to work with this girl. She's going to lose her Instagram. Like, and I'm scurrying because we have a new location. It's quite expensive. I've spent a ton of money in renovations, etc. And her Instagram gets hacked. She finally gets the Instagram back. She's like been crying. She gets all this help, etc., etc. We're coming closer to the date of her wearing one of my dresses. And there's a girl, and I'm going to find her Instagram. I have it written down. There is a girl who I also contacted, who I was like, okay, I'm going to dress you too. I speak to this girl one morning when we finally arranged a call. And all this girl cares to talk about is Dominique, how Dominique is no good. Dominique slandered some next person. And they're going to take her to court. The person's going to take her to court. There's a lawsuit about her. I should hashtag on Instagram to see it. And I was like, that's all good and great, but I just want to know between you and I how we're going to work. I'm not really too worried about, whoever else's personal business. She's like, well, I just don't like her, and none of Ottawa likes her, and she's blackballed there, but nobody in Toronto really knows about it. And I just don't even want my picture posted beside her on my Instagram page. I'm like, okay. And she's like, and I'm like, you know what? And the conversation kind of ended. Like, there was a feeling in me where, first of all, I'm one of those people where it's like, I always think about people's motivations for why they do things. Like, because I don't quite understand people. I'll be very honest. I never have. It's always been something where I do not understand people. So I'm thinking to myself, we're in conversation, and I'm thinking to myself, if somebody's going to court with somebody over slander, what does that have to do with me? And most certainly, like, what does that have to do with my business? So I'm listening to her talk, and by the end of the conversation, I'm like, listen, I'm pretty sure this girl's blackballed because you guys are making sure of it. Like, the way that you guys are talking about her, and the way that if she's trying to do business with me, why would you be on the phone with me trying to impede who she's doing business with? So I guess they figured that it didn't work with trying to convince me not to work with Dominic. So they must have gotten it through to her in some way. And it went from me and this girl conversating, hey, how are you? How's your day? To like, she would not talk to me at all. If I messaged her with something, she would like it, or she would say thank you, and that would be the end of it. So that relationship went up in smoke for reasons nobody knows. Nobody knows why. I know why, but let's leave it. Then there was the next weekend, when I was a vendor at Friday Harbor, Miles Sexton. I think he also has about 100,000 followers as well. Or thereabouts, somewhere in that region. So up until then, when I met Miles, everything was good. We took selfies together at the show. The bond was great. Everything was fine. And the same thing again. Okay, Miles, we're gonna work together, blah, blah, blah. And I had this whole conversation with him. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna give you a fur coat. He was like, yeah, I have a segment coming up, blah, blah, blah. Just normal business engagement. Not long after, Miles's page also gets hacked, and he loses his Instagram page as well. Now I'm like, okay, this is a pattern. Everybody that I'm working with keeps losing their Instagram page. So in my heart, I'm feeling like this is not a coincidence. After that, Miles refuses to talk to me. it's the same thing. If I message him the first time, he reads it, he doesn't say anything. I message him a second time, he'll just like it or say thank you. Nothing's happened since then. Months and months later, I guess, when I moved on, when I started planning the whole BravoCon trip and I was reaching out to influencers, then Miles comes back to me, messaging me over and over and over. Oh, I have a segment coming up. Can we work together? Hey, babe, how are you? Like nothing never happened. Hey, babe, how are you? I'd love to work together. I have a segment coming up, blah, blah, blah. I read it and I leave it alone. Because one thing, it's like, listen, you're going to make your bed and you're going to lay there. When it comes to me, coming back in my energy is a no-go. So I leave the whole Miles thing alone. I leave the Dominic Baker thing alone. And I moved on to BravoCon. I moved on to just listen. I don't have time. I do not have time. But prior to that, so from the summertime, I was working on partnerships. And so one of the first things that happened was where I started working with the girls from ET Canada. So I got in touch with, and this is in the summer, I got in touch with the stylist for ET at the time, which is Maria Chowdhury. We had some conversations and I was like, listen, what was coming up in September? TIFF was coming up in September. And I was like, listen, we have a new collection of dresses. They're coming in. I'd love to show you what we have coming in. You guys can choose and we'll get the sizes just based off of the samples that we have coming in. And then I can loan you these dresses. Sangeeta ended up wearing the dress, posted me in the dress. I did not get not one like, not one follow. Go to Sangeeta's page. I feel like her normal followers, like her normal reels would do like, and don't quote me on the numbers, but let's say her normal reels would do like 100, 200,000 likes or views. This particular reel with in our dress did like maybe 50,000 or something. And then the next day it got up to like maybe 80,000. It was like noticeably reduced. I'd say that, because I particularly am gonna be looking at it because I'm a business owner and we had a partnership. She tagged me properly. She tagged me on the stories. She tagged me on her page. She posted the reel. They got the reel to me right away. Like, couldn't complain about that at all. It just seemed like it didn't track even on her page, which doesn't quite make sense, because if the girls just have reels or content that they're posting for every day on set, something like TIFF or something like traveling or something on a red carpet usually would do better on engagement. Anyway, that didn't happen. I left it as it was. I never said anything. We moved on. So I get in the habit now where I'm regularly going down to the station. I'm dropping off clothes and I'm picking up old things that nobody got a chance to wear. So I'm getting quite comfortable in that relationship. I'm leaving things with security or they're walking me over to the room, whatever the case is. And everything was fine up until that point. Everything was fine. One of these gang stalkers comes over to my store while I think Maria Chowdhury was there. And that's where things went south. So somebody came in, seen her. They went back. They did their little investigation, blah, blah, blah. And then I noticed that they were kind of pulling back from me a little bit in the relationship. So I'm like, okay, here we go again. So I left it as it was. Like, that's one thing. Like, there's nothing for me to do. If somebody's pulling back in a relationship, it is what it is. There's nothing that I can do about that. So I let it be what it is. Hold on, let me clean my camera. This is bothering me. Oh my God, much better. So I let it be. I let things be what it is. Then came what was coming up? I think it was some award show, and Cheryl Hickey was going. No, the first person was Morgan Hoffman. So they took some dresses. There was a dress that Morgan liked. And I was waiting hand and feet for Morgan to post the dress. She wore it. hadn't seen any posts. Then Maria contacts me and she's like, oh, Morgan's dad passed away, so Morgan is not posting right now. I said, okay, no problem. My condolences. I'm very sorry. Morgan just didn't end up posting the dress at that time. So I just kind of left it alone and I was like, it is what it is. She was posting other stuff. She had gotten back to her posting routine. She didn't post us. And for me, I just kind of accepted it. It is what it is. And I kind of just moved on. So that's another opportunity that was lost. I'm going to put a pin in that because she did end up posting it, but I'm going to put a pin in that and tell you guys when she ended up posting it. Then there came Cheryl Hickey. Cheryl Hickey, I had tried working with her years prior and she just never wanted to post us. She took one of our outfits. She liked the outfits themselves, but she didn't want to post us. So we didn't end up getting posted by her prior to. I couldn't tell you why, and I'm not going to make aspersions as to why she's never posted us. I just leave it as it is. So the whole thing happens where Maria, out of the blue, comes to me at the store and says, after pulling away a bit, comes to me at the store one time and she's like, hey, I'm just here to return some clothes, but I just want to let you know, the girls are going to wanted to do a competition for you. And they're going to post your item. It's their last show. So I don't know what happened. I think I must have given clothes first. I'm going to try to remember the timeline. I think I must have given clothes to Cheryl Hickey first. And then it didn't seem like anything was getting posted. And for all the bags of clothes I was giving them, I wasn't getting anything out of it. Like I could visibly see like it wasn't making sense to send the clothes anymore. And then they got the announcement that their network was shutting down out of nowhere, out of the blue. Nobody said anything to anyone. The network was just shutting down. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Maria comes to the store and she's like, hey, we wanted to do a contest and we're going to feature your clothes. We're going to post your clothes, on Instagram. And we're going to do a contest. And then we're basically going to ask our audience or whatever if they like outfit A or outfit B. And then, there's going to be a prize. I hadn't answered her at all. I hadn't said yes or no. Because at that time, they already started... the relationship to me, it's like, once you... Listen, I don't beg anybody for anything. I'm not a person who asks anybody for anything. So once it starts getting sour, it's like, bye. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm not begging. I've built myself. So once that happened now, they went ahead and they just did the contest on their own. And they put up that we're going to give a gift card and all of this. And the craziest part is, if that competition had been done where it was like, yeah, let's do this, blah, 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 everything's great. I don't care what the gift card is. It makes perfect sense to me. But I hadn't agreed to it because I kind of didn't want to. And I was just like, I don't know where this is coming from because I don't like people doing the hot and cold thing. Like energetically making me feel like they don't want to be in my space or something is wrong with my store or something is wrong with me after I've been so gracious, after I've been so accommodating. And now all of a sudden, it's like something like a contest is a lot more. Like to me, I would think that would be a paid thing. Especially with this was done on Cheryl Hickey's page. So I would think that would be something that would be paid, much less for it to be, they're doing it for me for free. I'm always suspicious when people want to give me stuff for free or when people want to do favors. So when they did it, I text Maria and I was like, listen, I hadn't really been prepared for this. And so at that point in time, it's like, I'm not really communicating with anybody. I felt like people didn't really like, at the time, the girls from the station, it's like they mailed me the last item that had to come in. They didn't even want to drive to the store to drop it off. They mailed it. Now, our store, I want to say, is like 20-30 minutes from the eTalk studio. That was not something that need to be mailed. Plus, they have like an official company vehicle where they used to drop off clothing with the driver. So all of a sudden, the driver didn't want to come. Like, no one wanted to come to the store. It was like nobody wanted to deal with me. Cheryl and all of them, they're crying about the station closing down, whatever, shutting down, whatever the case was. And then in the midst of all that, they posted me and it was like 900 comments voting in the stories. Now, that was significantly higher than any of the other contests that they had done before. At the time I was looking at the other contests, it was like 1 to 200 like comments. Now all of a sudden it's 900 when they do me. I get even more followers. I think I had to take off at least 1,000 followers that came over to my page. All of the followers are phony looking pages. Let me show you what a gang stalking page looks like. Now, a normal person who has a private page, who's like their page is closed, they might have 600 followers, but let's say they'll have like 800 people that they're following. So there's the people that they know, and then there's a little bit extra. Most people, if who they're following is higher than the people following them, you're kind of conscious of that. So you're not going to let it get to a point overboard. And I could say that because that was like, even me, that's how I was with my personal page. I was like, I don't want to be following like so many people. It kind of looks kind of off. Gang stalkers will have 73 followers, be following 1,600 people. They're just there to just like, to keep people's engagement up, so that people don't notice they have zero engagement and they have zero connection to their followers. So all these fake pages come and they like, so that one day when you're not listening, they tell everybody stop liking your page. Your story will get like 5 views. And now you realize your business is in trouble because it's all them. It is the illusions that they cast. That's what they do. That's what they do, because that's what they did to me. All these weird pages. We have a very definitive customer. You could look at the page and you could see this is the age range. This is the type of girl that would wear these clothes, whatever. Why are 50-year-old women following me? Why are a whole bunch of men following me? Why are people who don't even speak English, who don't have any English on their page, following me in my stories, liking my stories? Like why? All fake followers. So Cheryl posts me and I get over 1,000 of these kind of followers. And I guess what they wanted to do is they wanted to restart it. So essentially, John Ferreira, this guy who's been gang stalking me, chief manipulator, couldn't make up his mind, because he was supposed to be proving to these people in Brazil that I was finished, that I was done, that things weren't working out for me. But I kept going, I kept hustling, I kept doing what I was supposed to do. So imagine now I end up with big influencers like Dominique Baker or Miles Sexton or ET Canada, and all of these promotions keep coming out. Then it's really going to look like, well, is he doing his job? So essentially he wanted to make it look like, no, she's not doing that. I do that for her. I gave her those contacts. I gave her those engagements. So they weasel their way in between all the relationships that you're negotiating, and they try to make it seem like they're doing it for you, but they're not. They're trying to destroy you. So we're at a point where now I know it's a setup. It looks like a setup. Because what used to happen, and I realized back in the day how they got me the first time, is I would put up Instagram ads and the ads would be performing like crazy, where it was like, I'm putting up one ad and I'm getting like 1,000 followers from the ad, and I'm like, whoa, like this ad is doing amazing. Meantime, I'm being set up. Even the engagement in my lives right now, all of that is low on purpose. Nobody wants me to talk about this stuff. Nobody wants me to tell how they do what they do. So from that time, I saw all the followers that came with Cheryl. I did not repost it. I did not comment under the post. I didn't care anything about that post, because that to me looked like a setup. Then after the fact, Morgan Hoffman posted, and she posted us in a carousel post, and she posted us somewhere in the middle of the carousel post. She tagged us in the middle of the carousel post, I should say. And these kind of little games to me, I felt were kind of ridiculous for the fact that a brand is providing you clothing. It's like you should be a lot more gracious and you should be a lot more grateful when people take their time to provide clothing to you, especially considering that like other networks have a whole budget. Like they get their clothing from Holt Renfrew and they have huge budgets, and like even like for example the social, it's all designer stuff. So it's like they're struggling to get clothing. They don't have a budget. I go out of my way, all the gas I spend driving back and forth and coordinating all of this with the stylist. And for you to not post me, to me, it's insulting. And it's like, well, I don't have to deal with this. And I realized to myself why they probably had issues with getting a lot of brands to work with them before. It is what it is. Like, I'm not at the point of sugarcoating anything for anyone. I'm putting everybody on blast. Everybody has to deal with the consequences of their behavior. So that's the reality of what happened. So that's the what have we gone through? We've gone through the influencers. We've gone through Cheryl Hickey. Now, I must say, to be honest with you, I think people like Cheryl and Morgan have their own reasons why they don't want to post people. I think Maria and Sangeeta are normal people, and I'm very grateful to have worked with them. I have no issues. But it was very clear that something had threatened them or had scared them in them coming to my store or them working with me. Something happened because all of a sudden these people were not like normal anymore. They weren't, it wasn't like, there was apprehension, there was nervousness, and I don't know what happened to make them feel that way. But if I was being gang stalked, I could only imagine what they saw or what somebody said to them or whatever the case was. These three examples are like a long time running theme of people getting in the way of me doing business and trying to sabotage me at every turn so that I don't do business, so that I don't make money, and then I'm left begging. And I guess in their mind, I'm going to come back and say, hey, I'm ready to get on the plane and be a drug mule. In what fucking world? That's already a leap. That's a leap of faith to think, because I guess this is supposed to happen if you have a handler. If you have a handler, the handler is supposed to come in and say, the fake friend, the fake person who's there to help you is supposed to come in and say, oh, you're having money issues? Do you want to sell drugs? Do you want to get on a plane? That's what he said to me. The same John Ferreira came all the way down to my store one time, surprising me with my grand opening. And I was like, you know what? Sales are kind of slow at this store. Like, I'm not sure what I need to do. And this fucker said, like, literally was like, do you want to sell drugs? Like, got so excited. We're in the middle of the hallway of the mall. That's how desperate he was. He's been desperate for a long time because he was supposed to deliver me for a long time and it hasn't worked. Personally, I think right now he's on the run. I think because these are dangerous people. Where, like, again, I'm not even talking about street people. So these are dangerous people that he owes. And he hasn't been able to deliver. And quite frankly, he will never be able to deliver. I've seen all their tricks multiple times. And they can't even follow me. And when they realize, because they have all my stuff hacked, when they realize that, like, okay, like, is she home? They start calling, emailing, getting people from the States to call the store. Calling and emailing and messaging on Instagram. Hey, do you have these jackets available? Like, whatever they could do. Tonight, I get a text message from Tabia Charles. You guys, people might know who Tabia is. Listen, and one thing about me, when I post this stuff, I'm tagging everybody on it. I'm not one of those people who does sneaky stuff. Because if and when it goes to court, I'm suing everybody in a bundle. So I'm not worried about not tagging people or saying things to people's face. Everybody's getting tagged when I put this on in my stories. So they could go check out the video on YouTube and see what I'm saying about them. Because one thing I do not do is I do not lie. I do not slander. I do not gossip. I have a business. I have a public platform. I do not gossip. So everybody's getting tagged. Tabia Charles, the audacity. So I don't even let people come to my home. But because I knew Tabia from before, there was an event and her and I were talking. She was having some personal issues. I said, hey, to take your mind off of it, come out with me. She comes to my house. Everything is fine that day. She opens up to me. Everything's cool. Then all of a sudden, Tabia starts acting like she has to keep tabs on me. So I start ignoring her because these kind of text messages are wild. The text message that makes me just move off of her is Tabia texts me one day. One day my phone was off. And when I turned my phone back on, no, the first thing was she could only talk to me on WhatsApp. We started off texting, but now all of a sudden she can only talk to me on WhatsApp. Odd, and I'm not playing into that nonsense. So I'll text you. If you text me on WhatsApp, I'm not responding. And that's how all of them were. All of them only want to talk on WhatsApp. Alicia Harper had the audacity to text me or to message me on WhatsApp. Hey, your text didn't go, my text to you didn't go through, so I'm just going to message on WhatsApp. I text my daughter and I was like, text me back right now. My daughter texts me back. The text goes through just fine. I'm getting texts just fine. All of them only want to talk on WhatsApp. Cool. So, Tabia, my phone was off one day and I was going to do some stuff and I guess they started panicking. John must have started panicking because he couldn't find me. Tabia's gonna fucking text me, hey babe, I sent you a message. I text you and it didn't go through. Bitch, and the fuck? Do I owe you something? Do I have something for you? Do I owe you money? What are you talking about? Your text won't go through. I'm just like, see, from that day, I was just done with her. So I guess the whole Tabia being my handler thing didn't work as intended. She unfollows me, I unfollow her. All of a sudden, so we're not even following each other. All of a sudden tonight, we're January 5th. I'm getting a text message on January 5th talking about Happy New Year's, babe. Hope everything's good. Listen. It's January 5th. Okay? First of all, from you, even if the text message had come on New Year's, it wouldn't have been welcome. On January 5th, you're texting me Happy New Year's. For what? Nobody texts me Merry Christmas, nothing. From New Year's. Now, let me tell you guys the significance of New Year's. On December 31st, I posted John's picture on my page. And then all of a sudden, the engagement skyrocketed in my stories and on the page. And he started feeling embarrassed because with me doing all my lives and only a couple people looking at it, it wasn't really a big problem. It's still embarrassing, but it wasn't a problem. But on December 31st, a bunch of people started seeing it as well. And people were expressing their condolences. People were under the comments saying, this is crazy, this is insane what you're talking about. Now, everybody's been texting me. The plumber is texting me Happy New Year's. Brokers are texting me Happy New Year's. January 3rd, 4th, 5th. Now everybody's like, Happy New Year's. Hope everything is okay. Happy New Year's. Who is this? Oh, it's the model. You worked with me one time. Happy New Year's. Who is this? Oh, it's who else was there? The model I worked with one time. Oh, it's me, the girl that came to your store one time for a fitting. What? I wouldn't even go to your like if you even invited me to a wedding, it would have been weird. What are you texting me for? Like, so now it's like they're freaking out. They got to send people back in. They got to send people to be my friend. For anybody who's here who's new to this story, you gotta just go to the YouTube and you gotta just go watch the videos on the YouTube to see the extent of the insanity of this shit. If you're not a person who has your eyes open, these people come around you and they surround you, and you think all of these people are your friend. The same way Tabia came around, the same way this one comes around. Toronto Fashion Experience. That's who. That's the girl that texted me. Met her one time. She weirded me out with a couple of things that she said after the fact. And I thought her intentions were pure. She came as, I'm a Christian, this and that. And there was something she did when I got rid of all the fake people that were in my store renting from me. Because they wanted to fill up my store with a whole bunch of like weirdos renting from me. Like things that didn't even correlate to our business. And when they noticed I didn't want any more businesses in my store, she comes with some friend who's in Grenada asking me, can her friend in Grenada put rent for me and put some stuff in my store to sell? And I was just like, yeah, okay, no. So I felt like she was another implant. If your eyes are not open and you're not vigilant, these people will surround you. You'll think that they're your friends. You'll think that they're your this and that, and they are all handlers. They are all gang stalkers. They'll be the same ones to turn around and gang stalk you on the street, follow you around, look at where you're going, follow you themselves. This is the same thing with my ex. Everybody around my ex was fake. But as a girlfriend, you spot it first. As an outsider, you'll spot it and they won't spot it. And I used to tell them, I'm like, that person's fake. That person's not your friend. That person's a weirdo. And that's the thing. When you're the new person that comes in and you notice how people are treating people that you care about, or how people behave, and the way, and it's like a particular person in his life didn't like me from day one. And men talk a lot. They pretend that they don't, but they talk a lot. And it's like feeding this person information, telling this person so much stuff. And turns out that's exactly how we ended up breaking up, is because they knew all our business. And that's what gang stalkers are there to do. They're there to be in your business, to know all your business, to ask you personal questions. You'll meet somebody off of the street. Somebody will come to your store and the first question will be like, so where do you live? Where do you live? No, don't give me the intersection. Give me the house number and the street number. What do you mean, where do I live? What kind of weird stuff is that? It's like, that's how they come at you. They key, and then they ask you some super audacious personal question out of the blue. So it's not like you can't see it. It's either you want to keep your eyes closed or you don't. Like, these people are weird. These people are very weird. Period. They're extremely weird. And then when they can't find their own people to do this kind of stuff, they just start using the people who come around you. So whoever it is that's already in your network, those are the people that you're going to now start noticing are weird. They're going to turn your cousins, your friends, your this, your that, everybody against you. There was a girl. She was the manager of the store next door to me at Oakville Place Mall. And she's typically a quiet girl. But I was telling her everything that was going on. Now, the amazing thing about that situation is I wasn't just telling her, she was there to see, because she was in the store next door. So they were trying to, and it was easy to assume that the store belonged to her, because as the manager, she was there all the time. She took care of everything. So I even thought she was the owner of the store, to be honest with you. I really did. I thought she was just talking crap when she said she wasn't the owner. So she knew a lot of stuff. And she was seeing the stuff. And she's not a stupid girl either. So she was seeing the weird behavior. Excuse me. So the same way they were abusive to me, coming into my store saying crazy stuff, they were doing the same thing to her. They were abusive. So then she started complaining to me about stuff that would happen. I mean, I'd be in her store and somebody would come in and they'd be like, I bet you didn't make enough today to even buy a cup of coffee, eh? Who says that kind of stuff? And it would be all day long, one after the other, just abusing people. on their business. And I guess they felt like they wanted to take that store down, or that's what they like to do. They want to get in the air of the management and get your contract taken, and they sully your name, and all of a sudden all the security guards are getting swapped out, and now everybody working there is Latino. This happened at Vaughan Mills Mall too. All of a sudden, everybody working at Vaughan Mills Mall, they traded it with some Latino company, some company that wasn't even working. As a matter of fact, security and all the managers in our hallway used to look around, and we used to be like, "What is that?" It'd be some thug with his pants leaning, but like his pants sagging, in some ball hat and some outside jacket, and has the t-shirt over the jacket. He's not even cleaning. The garbage is overflow. They're not doing anything. So I guess enough people complained. They started getting immigrants, little immigrants and whatever, Hispanic immigrants. It's not even a real company. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's no way I'm the only person that sees this is not a real cleaning company. That is the kind of crap they do. That's how organized crime works. Okay. I'm not justifying it. I'm not explaining it. Don't ask me how. I'm not the godmother. Like we say in St. Lucia, I'm not the godmother. I didn't make it, so I don't know. I don't know how it works. I could only tell you what I see. But I can tell you this much. All the managers in the hallway are saying the same thing. We're like, this is not a real company. We're all looking at it. Listen, let me tell you how it works in malls in case you haven't worked in retail. There's always some type of store that somebody's like, that's a front business. That's not a real business. They do not participate in any sales. No Boxing Day sale, no Christmas sale, no nothing. In a normal retail store, you go in there and there's no customers or sales are low. The staff look depressed. The staff look sad because the staff have a quota themselves. So it stresses you out. So you go in there and you ask them how the sales are, and they'll try to lie to you or whatever. There are certain stores, they don't even care to talk to you. They don't participate in sales. It's empty year round. The same inventory. They don't even try to switch the inventory around to show people like new arrivals. No signs, nothing. And they've been there for the longest time. Everybody knows that. So when there's any kind of occasion where owners or managers or GMs or whatever get together, they speak openly. Vaughan Mills is no exception. These managers speak openly and they're like, oh yeah, these people are ... this store and that store and that store. And people just know. And it is what it is. Now, nobody sits there and says, oh, well, how do you know? What do you mean, how do we know? We're there day in, day out. We're struggling. We're struggling through COVID. We're scared. We're petrified. Oh, there's a lockdown. There's this. The whole mall is putting up signs 50% off or 70% off or whatever the case is. And these people could care less. They're overstaffed. The store's empty. It's been empty. It's been the same stuff. They're selling stock that people don't buy. People haven't bought that in forever. So I don't know if they found it on a crate somewhere and they just put it in. From as a business owner you're always fighting to be edgy. You're fighting to have the best stuff. So all the rest of us are walking in each other's stores looking at what we have and we're like, oh, they're already doing that? Okay, we better get on that. So people come in my store, see what I'm selling, and the other stores are racing to go buy that inventory to hurry up and put it on their shelves. So you're feeling intense competition between all the rest of them. And then there's just that one that's had literally the same thing from the time you came to the mall. If I go in there right now, the same thing is in the same spot. It hasn't moved. And that's how it is. You can't get a job there. You can't apply there. Nothing. So when you work in certain settings, you see things. And that was one of those things. That company that came in to me in my head, I was like, that's a front company. It's not a real company. In my opinion, no one can convince me. Now, I always try to differentiate between what is my opinion and what I could tell you for a fact happened to me. That's my opinion. My opinion based on observation. I can't tell you for a fact, but it's my opinion. And I tend to be right. Okay? Do you want to know how I tend to be right? Do you want to know why I tend to be right? Because I'm not selling drugs right now. That's how. That's how. I'm not stupid. I see things and I accept them for what they are and I move forward. You're not going to realize what you're in and that you can't get out and that somebody sold you into a drug trade deal until you're in. You've already been on a plane, you've already traveled with some stuff, and you cannot come out of it. And that's a part that people don't understand, is that you cannot come out of these contracts. Look, they're ready to put me bankrupt. They're ready to try to steal every asset that I have, to try to do everything to me. They sit there and they plot on your assets. They plot on your homes. They plot on your business. Furthermore, if you even have children, they'll plot on getting your kids taken away from you. Everything possible to demolish the old life you have, to isolate you and put you in a messed up situation. These people are monsters and they're heartless and they only see money. They only see whatever it is that they're getting paid for you. And God forbid it's big money, which I believe it is. They don't care. You're not even a human being to them. They could care less. I used to wonder, how comes these people are gang stalking me and following me all over the place? And it's like a tit for tat game for them. It's like a game. If I have to put a puck code or a lock code on my SIM and they come into the store and they see me putting the code on, it's like they're visibly disappointed, like, oh, like they get dejected and they lose motivation and they leave. And I used to wonder to myself, like, if all their job is to gang stalk, why are they looking visibly disappointed? That's because everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid on you being a drug mule. The company is making money. This is the enterprise that they wanted to get into. Is they've already been gang stalking for multiple different purposes, or for smaller companies, or for whatever they were doing. But the cartel was supposed to be it was supposed to be the big leagues. That was supposed to be where they get the big money. So they were so excited. But why am I supposed to be the entry level person that you guys want to put in? Moved into my neighborhood, and my neighborhood is full of these recruiters. And for a neighborhood like that, everybody has a Ferrari, everybody has a Lamborghini, everybody has this and that. And to the point that I'm thinking, like, yo, I'm catching my breath off of being approved for the mortgage. It takes, like, it's traditionally taken me a year after I get approved for a mortgage to catch my breath financially. I'm terrified. Getting used to the mortgage, the bills, the this. That's why most people don't even have furniture when they just move into a house. Because you're catching your breath. You're getting used to it. You're working it out. These people move in and they're digging a hole for a pool tomorrow. They move in. They're lining up Ferraris in the driveway. Young boy, 32 years old, doesn't look like he has any type of education. Those are the recruiters. The recruiters are so it's like once you get into the recruiting, that's where you go big time. That's where you get into the big leagues as far as criminals and making money. So they went ahead and made a deal with the devil, and I was supposed to be the prize cow that they bring in, that is supposed to be up and down, traveling, drug muling, and it hasn't worked and it will never work. So now everybody's backing out of the deal. You can't back out with those kinds of people. Back out with the bank. You could even back out with the government. You could even maybe back out with CRA if you want to get on a payment plan. You can't back out with those people. This is why the desperation has been so real. I contacted Avery Haynes, who does all these stories about the cartel and drugs and this and that. And you know what Avery said to me? She says, that doesn't make sense, because why are they still doing that? They should be able to find people who want to do it. That's what I said, Avery. They should be able to find people who can do it or who want to do it. Why are they so obsessed with me? Why, if this man's life is falling apart, like this man stopped focusing on other jobs that he had to get done and was only focusing on me? And I realized because his life is in jeopardy. So now people don't want to collaborate with him anymore. They don't want to work with him because why would I want to be with you when Brazilian boots or Mexican boots hit the ground in Canada? Why would I want to be around for that type of action? So now everybody wants to get rid of me. They don't want me in the neighborhood no more. They don't want me where all the negotiations to close out accounts have gone swimmingly. They're not even looking for money out of it. They're not even like, oh, no. Everything has been negotiated behind my back. They want me out. Of course they're going to want me out. Because now everybody's realizing they're between a rock and a hard place. They're between somebody who's speaking out and making YouTube videos and naming names. So if this were to go viral, if this were to get picked up by the media, everybody's name's already in the videos. Not to mention, I'm definitely not the one you're going to bank on is not going to do interviews. I'm definitely doing interviews. I'm pointing to people. I'm pulling out my notes. And I'm giving them dates, names, and times. So they're stuck between that drama because they like to run around here and pretend that they are decent people and they're not. Pretend that they are upstanding people and they're not. A lot of people fool people because they wear a suit and they have a ring on their wedding finger and they're married and they live in this house and they do this and they like to pretend like they're upstanding people, and that is a mask. They're monsters and they're part of organized crime and they're a part of all kinds of crazy things. And if all of that stuff ever came to light, there would be zero respect for them whatsoever. John Ferreira being the first. You want to know how I know? This monster had the audacity to say, oh, all my friends tell me I should run for public office, that I would win, that they would vote for me. That's the type of network he had before I came in the picture. Now, negatory. Negatory. He's out of options. Anybody who collaborates with that man is asking for their life to fall apart. He brings nothing but bad luck to everyone he is around. Staying around him, you're going to end up losing money, falling sick, all kinds of things that start going wrong with you. That's how he is. That's who he is. This type of karma that's on his head. He is sick. Multiple illnesses. Like, there's just some people that when they come around you, like, just even physically, they come in your presence and things stop working. And just like things go off. And it's weird. I don't know if anybody has ever experienced that. But I am very sensitive to that stuff. So I know, like, when certain people come around, I feel it. I see it. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Put it this way. Let me really, to try to make it make sense. If somebody comes over to your home and the house feels off for not even just when they leave, but like a couple days after, the aura in the house is weird. The house feels upset. It feels weird. Like, you have to like try to clean the house, open the windows, do something to the house because the house feels upside down. That is how he is. That is how his spirit and his aura is. It's weird. It's nasty. Anyway, 2 more things and then I'm going to close out this live. The Legacy Awards. I got a lot of people to tag on this video. My God. The Legacy Awards. So I contacted the Legacy Awards around the same time that I contacted the Women Empowerment Awards. Everything was good with the Women Empowerment Awards. I moved forward with that. With the Legacy Awards, we were kind of late. I went out and I made custom tags to give them to donate for the Spanx that I was gonna donate. I made a custom tag. It said, Dear Legacy Awards nominee, etc., etc. Paid money for this and all. Signed the contract and all. As soon as the signed contract came by email the day before, I'm getting an email from the organizers, and I think the email basically read something like, you know what? Let me go find the email before they delete it out my inbox since I'm talking about it right now. Let me go screenshot it. The email basically was like, I've never seen nothing like this in my life before. I'm telling you guys, I had the signed contract. Okay, so yeah, this was August 8th of this year, 12:55 p.m. And this email came from Morgan Blades. And she said, I hope this message finds you well. I want to express our appreciation for your interest in being a part of the Legacy Awards gifting experience. After careful consideration, it seems there might be a slight disconnect between the products that Can Boutique, hold on. There might be a slight disconnect between the products that Can Boutique is looking to provide and the overall theme and vision of this year's event. Our team has been meticulously curating an experience that aligns seamlessly with the celebration of excellence and achievement within the Canadian community. While we won't be able to include Can Boutique's offering in this year's event, please rest assured that we'll keep your brand in mind for future opportunities. So we could go and we could see when the Legacy Awards actually happen. That's the email they sent me. Before signing the contract, I had emailed them they knew that I was going to be gifting Spanx, but we had also talked about dressing some of the attendees or providing clothes to other people. All kinds of things we talked about. I gave them a picture of it to prove it was a custom label that was supposed to go around the Spanx. It was for the women. Now, Legacy Awards, I know that they had a little bit of an issue with, so they had expressed to me via phone, okay, that they weren't really that year getting a lot of nominees. I think Appleton was supposed to be like a nominee for liquor or whatever. I don't understand what products I was selling that wasn't in line, but I remember mentioning it to a couple people and they're like, it sounds like somebody said something. I already know it sounds like somebody said something because this is what I have been going through the entire time. So I don't know who they got to get into the ear of the organizers, but going from having a very decent, positive experience and conversation talking to these ladies by phone, showing them what we have to offer, our products, whatever, and just for the fact that the Legacy Awards is a black-owned show, and I'm a black owner, you would have thought it makes sense. It's a perfect shoe-in. It's just one more example. I have so many examples of times where I had things pre-negotiated. Everything was negotiated down to the letter. Everything was ready to go. Paperwork signed and everything, and people pull out on me last minute with frivolous bullshit. It's happening all into right now, where people are interfering in my relationships, in my business relationships. All into right now. Now, the last thing I'm going to say before I shut it down is Alicia. I don't know if Alicia's a gang stalker or if she's cartel. I don't know which one, but her behavior is so bizarre. It's so crazy to me. It's just so crazy to me. This whole city is a weird place to me. Like, I just don't know. I don't know anymore. It's weird. Like, I can't talk to you on Instagram DM, but I could talk to you on WhatsApp. Or it's like they're being weird. And I've known this girl for so long. She was one of my first models. So it's like this girl knows me or knows of me enough. Now she's under there, putting heart eyes under one of my pictures. After she ignores me in DM. If I say something to her in DM, she double tap it. It's like, yo, I don't know. But all I could say is don't use my phone number because I'll embarrass you people. Do not use my phone number and don't text me about shit. If you're worried if I know, I know. And if you're worried if your name's going to come out, it will. There. The question's been answered. If you're wondering if I know, I've been done new because I'm not an idiot. See, the thing about it is there's always situations where people they always leave a little bit of room for them to reverse out of it. So it's like I can always just say, or babe, I was just checking in on you. And then you tell them, like, get out of my face. They'll be like, well, I don't know what you're going through. I don't care if you're defensive because I'm telling you not to text me. That is my right. Especially when you're behaving weird. I listen to my intuition regardless of, there's evidence and there's intuition. I listen to intuition. I don't need evidence that somebody's fake. You're given intuition for a reason. I don't need evidence. By the time you get evidence, the gun is in your face. You don't need evidence. You walk in somewhere and things are weird and they feel weird because they are weird. They are weird. You're going to wait till they mug you. You're going to wait till they kill you. Then to be like, oh, I knew I was right. You were right from before, from the first time you felt it. And women, we know. How do you know when your man's cheating? Because he admitted it? Because you saw him and her in the bed? Because you saw something? You know it's off. And it's not a little feeling of off. It's not like it's a heavy, heavy feeling. It bugs you. It will wake you up in the night. You'll have a dream. That's how you know it's off. Now, difference between me and other people is when I have that feeling and now I'm waking up in my sleep and I'm breaking up. Oh, but you don't know. You don't know for sure. I do know for sure. My gut told me. That's me. You see, by the time I wait to find out that I'm right about people, I would have already been on the plane. Shaking my head thinking, damn, if I only listened to myself, I wouldn't have been here. Or if I only listened to myself when I had that feeling, when everybody was only talking to me on WhatsApp and nobody didn't want to text me. I called somebody. I've known this guy for a while. I called him. He ignored the call. And he messaged me on WhatsApp and he said, WhatsApp only, just WhatsApp me. That was the beginning of the WhatsApp thing with everybody. Anyway, I don't care to prove anything because I feel like the whole city knows anyways. I feel like anybody, and I know a lot of people, and I feel like anybody who has had any interaction with me has been approached because these people are desperate at this point. If it's for me, the cartel will gun down the whole of Toronto and I will stand there and watch because it's either y'all people or me. That's how I see it. It's either other people's lives or my life. I have 2 young girls that I have busted my behind to raise properly. And we're not going down like that. So it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We are hanging on till the wheels fall off the car. So that's what it is. And that's what it's going to be. Now, I know that this thing is not easy. Let me not sit here and pretend like this thing is easy to go through or this thing is easy to get out of. This is a difficult thing. I don't just pray. I'm like a prayer warrior when I pray. I've prayed so much. I'm like back at the beginning, repeating prayers again. I've run out of things to pray. That's how much I pray. And the difference with me and with most people is when most people don't see results from their prayer, they start giving up and they think God's not here with them. They think God's not hearing them. When I don't get results, I think God didn't hear me the first time. So I got to pray harder. I got to pray longer. I got to pray more. I got to nag on the door like, hello, hello, hello. Do you not hear me talking to you? That's me. So I don't give up. I don't see anything that is there. Give up and do what exactly? What am I going to do? What else is there going to be to do? I think people don't think that way. They think, oh my God, this is too hard. And let me tell you, you need God to get out of this. This is not something that the police are coming to help. This is not something where anybody's coming in to save you. You are on your own. So it's you and God. And that's who it's been with me the whole time. It's been me and God this entire time. No one has come to help me. Police reports come to help me. My father turned on me. People have turned on me. In my face, people that I've helped, people that I've known forever have turned on me. It's crazy. And then to add insult to injury, Because things were not affecting me, because they couldn't pull me down, then they started saying I was doing obia. Now me, I don't know how to combat rumors. Like, some people address rumors. I don't know how, I'm not used to doing that, because I just let people say whatever they want to say. If they want to say, like, and especially if it's ridiculous, because I've always for years said, come on my Instagram and come on thing, and even though I'm on a business page, I'll say, who's prayed for the morning, who said good morning to God, who did this, who did that, and said, hey, say good morning back, but make sure you guys pray before you start the day, this and that. I've always been spiritual, so now people are ready to believe I'm a witch because the obia is working on them and it's not working on me. That's because God's shielding me, because I was with God, representing God, talking to God, before I got myself binded up. People only know God when they get binded up. And what did the Bible say? God says, remove yourself from me because I don't know you. I never knew you. I knew God from before all of this, years before, and it was a very serious, committed relationship from way before. Now they're saying I'm a witch, and this and that and all that. So now when they're saying that stuff about me, what am I supposed to say? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'm a witch. Shoot, the way this is crazy, if it takes obia to get out of it, then obia it will be. So you think I'm supposed to be embarrassed? Like, let's say it was obia that I was doing. Let's say it was obia for real. Whatever it takes. Because the police aren't doing anything. No one's doing anything. So if it takes some obia to get out of it, I think other people should go learn some obia too. Go get you a witch doctor. Because obviously you're in a bad situation. You might want to go get you a witch doctor and try to get yourself out of the situation. Nobody's in that thing because after they know what they're in, no one's in that because they want to be in that. They're in that because they're stuck in that. It's a scary thing. It is terrifying. If this is how they recruit you with gang stalking, then what the heck happens when you're in there? It's like they have those people like it's like zoo animals or something. It's weird. It's scary. People come to gang stalk you and they're scared. They're weird. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to say before I forget, because I have it written down. I remember, and I'm going to elaborate on this story a little bit more because I think this is a really important story. There was some cybersecurity guy, British guy, that I contacted. And I was asking him, he got forwarded my information and I was describing the way that I was hacked and whatever. And so he called me and he said, hey, I'd like to offer you some help, whatever. What are you experiencing? So he gives me all this valuable information. He says, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. I spoke to him the next day and his whole vibe had changed. His whole everything changed. No, you're not being hacked. Well, I don't know what I said before, but no, and delete your Credit Karma and just delete it all together. It's because these people were trying to steal my house from up under me. They changed my phone number on Credit Karma, so that's another thing you guys should take note of. I monitor my credit all the time. They wanted to change my phone number on my profile, so that would be the phone number that gets approved for applying for new documents. If I didn't have a credit alert on my stuff, I would have lost a lot of things. Would have been put in my name. I would have lost a lot. I would have been bankrupt. It would have been a mess. It is a credit alert that I have on my file. But anyway, which saved me big time. Trust me, which saved me. All of a sudden, he turned different. But do you know 2 things he said to me before he let me off the phone that time? He said, listen, because, this is the thing. When 2 people talk and they connect, regardless of what kind of facade or games people are pretending or whatever people are saying, he says to me, listen, these people are not necessarily smart people. I remember he said it slowly. He said, listen, these people are not necessarily known to be smart people. And then he gave me some other advice, which I can't remember off the top of my head. And he said, and good luck, okay? You're a good girl. Keep your head up. Good luck. But he only wanted to talk to me on Signal. He did not want to talk to me on a normal phone. He did not want to have a normal phone call. He only wanted to talk to me on Signal. And I remember that stuck with me for a while. And I was like, these people, I'm like, it's like, this is the thing. They talk to you in such a way as it's like they're not really all the way hiding because they don't think you're significant. They don't think that you're going to get out of this. So we don't have to worry. It's not like this is going to court. It's not like the police can do anything. But I'm like, these people. So I'm like, so he knows who's after me. And he says, you're a good girl. Good luck. Good luck. He's wishing me well. But that stuck with me for so long when he said they're not necessarily smart people, because that's the conclusion I've been at from day one. A lot of the things that they've done, it's always been harebrained schemes. It only works because you're terrified and you're isolated. But all of it, it's all long shots. If you stay alert and you're looking around you and you can see what's going on with you, it's all long shots. It's a long shot after a long shot after a long shot after a long shot. None of this stuff is carefully, like, in my opinion, carefully thought out. You know what? It works when you have a handler and you have a close friend that's like, oh no, don't go on live and say anything. These people are murderers. They murdered my friend or something like that to scare you. But when you have no handlers and you have nobody in your ear and you have nobody influencing you and pushing you in any direction, you're going to do whatever you want to do. So there's nothing anyone can really say to you to deter you. And that's what you're there for. But the system works according to the way the system works. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. As soon as you deviate from the system, meaning there's no handler, they're already in a tough spot, because I've never had a successful handler. I move alone. Even if I had one, I don't listen to people, nor do I tell people my personal business. So it's like the handler would just find out things after the fact. They wouldn't know anything. I don't sit there with people and just pillow talk. I mean, I love people. People are fascinating to me. When I see people in the store, on the street, at the supermarket, I'm known to talk to people. Hey, how are you? Whatever. As soon as it gets personal, red flags go up. I will never say hi to you again. As soon as you ask me a personal question, I start avoiding you. That's how I am. I don't do personal relationships like that. I don't know why. I've always been that way. And now more than ever, I'm definitely not going to change. So it's like, now they're just throwing people back into my energy. The same way Alicia hasn't liked a picture, watched a story, done anything in months. All of a sudden tonight, she's under some picture. I mentioned her in a live. She's under some picture with the heart eyes. Everybody's name is getting mentioned. Anybody who I feel did anything, was complicit in anything, their name needs to be mentioned. They need to be exposed. Y'all not supposed to be enslaving people like this because you're too much of a coward to come out of a situation. Alicia Harper, who used to post God on her page all the time. If Christians are real, where is their God? And that's why these people are Satanists. And that's why these people say things like, where is your God now? That's what they used to say to me in the beginning. Where is your God now? They can't say that to me now. I could say that to them. Where is your God now? Because my God, she's right here with me. She's right here with me. The Holy Spirit is with me always. I don't go nowhere without her. That's why they could say to Christians, where is your God? Because it's all a facade. It's all talk. I've been disappointed. So many people I knew were Christian and they got knocked down immediately. Where is God? Where is the God that they continue to speak of? Where is God with them? Is God? That's why people don't think God is real. And then they turn around now and they tell you, oh, God's not real. God's not real because God allowed this to happen to me. No, you weren't really tapped in. You were not really serving God, because God moves. God is active. God is present. God is very real. And I'm a living example of that. So I say all of this to say, if you're voluntarily sitting in this thing, not doing something for yourself, voluntarily sitting there and accepting this behavior and doing this for your life, and you're not thinking about, like, how many people are thinking about, like, I had a passion before all of this started. I was passionate about different things. How many people are thinking of what they wanted to be doing with themselves and what they're doing now? It's terrible. It's terrible to see where people have allowed themselves to end up. And it's scary. And like I said, I've been on the outside and I'm seeing this, so I can't even imagine being on the inside of this, how it goes, because people are terrified. Everybody's always scared of something. They come around and they're nervous. And it's funny because I remember Alicia was in my store and I was saying, hey, I was listening to TD Jakes and she says, which one? As if she's quizzing me, as if I don't really listen to gospel. I'm not Christian. And I think Christians have a hard time with understanding what spirituality is because they're so used to being fake perfect and really demonic underneath. They have a hard time with spirituality because spirituality doesn't pretend to be fake perfect. You know, but she's asking me like, which one? As if she's already heard something about me and it's like I'm some type of liar. I'm not Christian. I tell people to their face, I'm not Christian. I don't have a problem with Christianity and I don't have a problem with the gospel, and I listen to a lot of it because I resonate with a lot of it. It's just, I'm not Christian. I also resonate with Buddhism and Hinduism and a lot of other religions, Islam and everything else. I resonate with all those teachings, but I'm not that either. I listen to those things as well, but I'm not that either. I just take a little bit from whatever is necessary for me or whatever resonates with me, and I leave the rest. I don't have to demonize the whole thing and say, oh, Christians are this and Muslims are that and this person's this. No, it's just like, I appreciate what they have. I just don't think they have the whole story. So it's like, for anybody to even insinuate what I believe, especially having not even asked me and not even sat down to figure it out off of a lunatic who's a criminal, who's a career criminal at that, is crazy to me. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to post it and I'm going to post this into my stories. I'm going to tag people because if I'm going to be mentioning people, I'm definitely want them to see what I'm saying. If they have a dispute with what I'm saying, if I am wrong, like how I said the Legacy Awards, this is what they did, and I read the email. If they want to say that I am wrong and that is not the email that was sent, they have the full right to see the video, to see the part of it that has to do with them, and let me know that this is not what happened. So, and in all of the relationships and all of the people I mentioned, if there's anything that I have said that is false or erroneous, they have the full right to dispute it and let me know. And I'm going to go ahead and tag people. I'm going to continue doing my lives. I'm going to continue posting them so people can see. So it is what it is. You guys can go ahead and have yourself a good night.